Hello, welcome to Working Dragon Mystic, where we discuss real metaphysical and occult knowledge so that you can manifest real and tangible results in your life. This week we're going to talk a little bit about Yule, the holiday season in general, a few of the meanings behind the season, some things you can use to celebrate it, but we're also going to dive into a little deeper conversation on this and how to enjoy the holidays and how we can utilize them in our lives. So stay tuned. Okay, last year I know that we talked a little bit about Yule and we gave a quick rundown on it, some of the meanings, some of the way it was celebrated. But of course, we've been doing this simple, practical celebrations and many of the things that me and my family do here, trying to pass those on so that you can figure out how it is that you want to celebrate the holidays. Now, Yule, or the winter solstice, is usually celebrated on December 21st to 22nd, depending. The winter solstice does change its date, so you'd have to check your calendar if you want to celebrate on the exact winter solstice. This year, December 21st of 2021, is actually the winter solstice, according to my calendar, at least here in the northern hemisphere. It is different in the north and southern hemispheres, so do check your calendar, and it does differ from year to year. Now, many people do just pick a day, whether it be the 21st or 22nd, and they'll always stick their Yule celebration there just for convenience. And I get that. That's perfectly fine. You can do that. Now, one of the big I guess you could call it themes this time of year is the end of the cold season or the return of the sun. I've always felt it weird. People say it's the end of winter and the coming of spring because we're about to go into the harshest part of winter. The winter solstice is the longest night of the year. That is true. And because of that, the sun does start to move closer and the days begin to grow longer. That is true. But we still are yet to get through some of the harshest parts of winter. And part of the winter solstice is preparing ourselves to hunker down and give what we got and get through those harsher parts of winter. Now, back in the day when we didn't have modern heat, we didn't have grocery stores and all that, that meant preparing for the winter. You would really be hunkering down and you'd probably be snowed in with people, which is probably a good thing why people took the holiday time to reconnect with their friends and loved ones who they're going to have to depend on through this season. But it's also where the feasting came from. A lot of the foods that was eaten were to get rid of stuff that needed to be eaten and make room for the stuff that's going to be stored and get them through the harshest part of the winter. Now, as we discussed in the Yule roast, of course, there was a lot of animals being butchered at this time to prepare for winter as well, and they usually used some of that for the feast as well. So, you can see, yes, this is celebrating the sun's return. We should not forget that. We are celebrating the fact that the sun is coming. We are celebrating hope and blessings for the coming year. In fact, your magic this time of year could easily and should probably be focused around blessings, empowerment, and relationships, and just good harvest for the next coming year. And that's exactly what we do here at my house. We do focus on those blessings in the coming year. And the blessings that we want, we also even focus on what we're trying to work on next year and how those blessings can actually help us with those specific tasks, not just the year in general. But we also take that step of preparing for the winter, preparing to hunker down and get through the worst part of it. We take that to the next step and we declutter. We don't really have a reason usually, well, growing up I did, to put away and store pantry foods for the worst of it. Where I grew up, ice storms, power outages, and like were pretty normal. So to that, canning and putting back foods and stuff, it was a normal part of the seasons. In fact, when it came to holiday feast, my family always prepared food not only to feed everybody, but to make sure they had a good week or two leftovers alone, just so there'd be no cooking in the kitchen, and that 1 to 2 weeks was used for canning, preserving, and other activities to help fill the pantry up for the coming winter. Well, these days I do keep a pantry for emergency situations. You always should. You should always have an emergency plan, I personally think. But not to that extent. So what I've done now is I actually take this time of year and I declutter the house. Now this year is definitely going to be a bigger year than usual because me and the wife are trying to pare down a lot. So we have been pulling things out left and right. My upstairs office looks like a disaster area because we have pulled everything out. I can barely walk through there, but that's good because we are bundling this stuff up. We're boxing it up. Clothes, books, you name it, we're bundling it up, and we are going to be taking this to Goodwill or some other location to donate them. So we are trying to pare down and get rid of what we can. Now, I have a few old bookcases that, honestly, they're barely holding together still. So I'm actually pulling some books off of those, and I'm going to be getting rid of those. We're paring the house down. We are decluttering and trying to go more minimal for the best we can for our lifestyle. But this decluttering concept of getting rid of the things you don't necessarily need to make room for things you do need, or to just maximize the space you currently have, it is a great way to celebrate the Yule season. In fact, during the Yule season, I like to take and meditate on the long nights and the coming year, especially on Yule itself, the winter solstice, the longest night of the year. I love to do a good nocturnal meditation, indoors or outdoors. Many years I have enjoyed going out, enjoying the cold, building a fire, and meditating outside if weather permitted. Sometimes you have to bundle up heavy, you really do, but it can be really good, whether you're outside or inside, to just meditate on that long, dark night of the year. This is the darkest night of the year. This is when the world is going to be at its absolute longest quiet. I know on this channel we've talked about the psychic quiet that falls at night. This is going to be the longest one we're going to have. And I've always found it interesting because most of the parties and everything generally gravitate closer to Christmas and that. And or people are going to bed early because they got to get up and do their shopping. So we do really get a massive amount of that psychic quiet for meditation, spell work, and the like. And I would encourage you to make use of it. I know I sure do every year. Also, I like to take time and focus on what I can do for other people, what I can do to help them, and consider ways to brighten their day. You'll notice I included that in the holiday meditation that we did earlier this month. I truly, truly believe that these holiday seasons, it's not about the religion, it's not about the gifts, it's not about that. It's really more focused on the blessings, the joy, the happiness, the hope of looking forward to better days to come. I really think when we're talking about, I think our ancestors, when they were looking forward to the sun's return, when they were celebrating the return of the sun on this night, I honestly, truly believe that they were focusing on the better things to come. It's going to warm up. The crops are going to begin to bloom again. There's going to be abundance again. You got to understand, back in the days when you had to stock up for the winter and survive, you were rationing in your food. You might even come on lean times where you're really, really tightening down your rations. So looking forward to that abundance and better things to come was really a key component. And because of this, you do hear a lot of stories of communities and families working together to bring in crops and share what they had and show their goodwill toward themselves and their community so that everyone that can possibly make it into the new year does. And that's one of the things I love to focus on this time of year is the goodwill toward all and try to find the best in humanity. And with that, I want to touch on a topic that I don't hear enough people talk about in my mind. every year I run into practitioners, pagans, atheists, or whatnot, who, if you wish them Merry Christmas or something, they just fly off the handle. I've had people scream, "It's not Merry Christmas, it's Happy Holidays. It's not Christmas, it's Yule." And, I honestly and truly think if we approach it from this angle, we're missing the entire point of this season. Whether you come up to me and you wish me Happy Holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Yule, Happy Hanukkah. I even had a person come up and wish me Happy Festivus. It sounded odd. It sounded familiar. I thanked them, had no clue what it was. I ended up asking somebody when I got where I was going, and they informed me that Festivus was a holiday that was mentioned on Seinfeld by one of the people's parents. And I remember that episode very, very, very vaguely. But you know what? I don't care. They wished me a happy Festivus. And here's the thing. Regardless of what you call it, you say merry or happy, blah, 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 blah. You insert the name of what you want to call the holiday. Okay? You have just took the time out of your day to give me a blessing for me to have a good day, a good year, a good season, whatever it may be. And to me, that's a beautiful thing. And I truly feel that we should respect and honor that goodwill. And I think we should set out and try not to go looking to pick a fight. Because I honestly think some of these people are out there trying to pick a fight. I know I was one of them. I know I've mentioned in the live streams, Christmas was not my favorite holiday. I've had some rough ones, that is for sure. So Merry Christmas was not something I would often say. In fact, a few years I just went around saying bah humbug. That's how bad I was. But I was working retail at one point, and I was literally told I could not say Merry Christmas. It had to be Happy Holidays. Well, as contrary as I like to be, I said screw that. That year I said Merry Christmas every time I saw someone, just because you told me I couldn't do it. And so I know for a fact that particular year I was just being contrary just to be an ass. And though I know for a fact I brought a lot of smiles to a lot of people's faces that year, and I'm thankful I did, even I was missing the point. Because it's about the well-wishing of our fellow people. Let's be honest. Throughout the year, humans drop the ball a lot. Humanity drops the ball on practically everything throughout the year. The holiday season, to me, truly is a chance to remind us that humanity is capable of better and can do better. And this is the time when we should put that focus to the goodwill of humanity and try to do better. Try to show that beautiful side of humanity that we all know is there. Why we hide it away so bad, I don't know, but we know it's there somewhere. True, what we view as the good side of humanity may differ from take to take, but at the core, it's ultimately to try to be nice, kind, and helpful to our fellow man in some manner. That doesn't mean they'll always enjoy or appreciate the help, I get that. But it's on us to carry that forward, and I truly think that if every one of us took time out to try and do that through the holidays. Utilized the meditation we went over earlier this month in the channel, and we set out to do that. I think we could actually make a drastic change. So you know what? Whoever you are, whatever you celebrate, if you see me out there shopping, if you see me out there running errands or whatnot, by all means, run up to me, say Merry Christmas, whatever holiday you celebrate, and I will wish you one straight back. Remember, it's the blessing and the intent, not the holiday they're celebrating, that matters. Okay? We are all humans at the end of the day. We all could use a good blessing and a good day's well-wishing. So let's try and push that one forward. I think that's a really big one for this time of year. In fact, one of the reasons I ended up not liking Christmas was the cornerstone of this holiday season, not Christmas, but the season, is a brighter future, blessings, and a well-being for all. And that was lost. That was so lost in everything I saw. So I actually got a bit grumpy around the season. I believe it was my wife who actually turned my own logic upside down on me and was like, well, if that's why you're upset, shouldn't you be trying to make the example? And I agree with her. She's right. So I do. I try to celebrate the season in my way. Yes, I still make the Grinch jokes. Yes, I don't really decorate a lot. In fact, this right here is about my biggest decoration we got in the house this year, just because we're working on downsizing. We're focusing on other things to truly highlight the meaning of this season here in our family. And with that, we are focusing more on family. We've made more phone calls this year than we've made other years. I should probably make more phone calls, to be honest with you. But anytime I go out, I try to be helpful in any way I can, even if it's just getting that box off the top shelf at the grocery store for that elderly gentleman or lady who can't reach it. It's the little things, in all honesty, that really add up in the long term and mean a lot. And I think if we can begin to make it a habit to show this goodwill during the holidays, I suspect it would be possible for us to begin to gain the ability to show that goodwill every day. And that would truly, in my mind, change the world as we know it. I know when I was little, we talked about the Christmas spirit year long. And I think, truly, for me anyways, that's what that meant. That Christmas spirit, that goodwill, that joy, that hope, that just kindness that the season itself represented was something that we should try to carry throughout the year, all year, every day, as best we can. And that, for me, is very much what celebrating Yule is about. Not only preparing for those blessings, looking forward at the blessings, preparing, clearing out the house, making room, but also how is it I can go into this next year and be a better Drake, and be a better friend, to be a better husband, to be a better dad, to be a better member of my community. It just passes on and just carries forward. And for me, that is one of the biggest parts of Yule. We see too much anger, we see too much annoyances, we see too many things this time of year that we allow to just show the worst of us. That's the exact opposite of what we should be doing this time of year. Remember, we are celebrating hope and better things to come. That is something to be joyous about. That is something to be happy about. And that is something to share with those you care about and love. Now, every family is going to do everything a little differently. Many of you will put up trees, many of you won't. I know one group of friends I have, all they do is make a nice dinner, make a pitcher of margaritas, and they share their hopes for the next year. And they exchange one gift each. It's very small, very light, it's very intimate, but it's a beautiful thing. Now, I do love to go to parties. I do love to have people around. I'm very social. But I do also love to help others. That's one of the reasons we're going to try and donate anything and everything we can as we pare down. Heck, I think a good chunk of my old occult library might be heading out outside the books that I use regularly, reliably, and consider books that I would recommend to others. Because over the years, I had to buy some real stinkers in order to find the good ones. But there are people who those books may inspire to be better, and that's okay. So I'm going to try and donate those as well as clothes, jackets. Got plenty of jackets I can donate. So consider doing stuff like that. Here in our house, we do play Christmas music during the season after Thanksgiving, and not your typical Christmas music. More often than not, it's something like Jimmy Buffett. He has a couple Christmas albums. Some comedy Christmas albums, a few songs by Voltaire, if anyone's heard those. We like to change it up. We like the whimsical stuff. It's kind of nice there. But we enjoy stuff like that. But it does still bring an air about the season. We usually get some holiday candles to make the house smell like pine trees. I usually like the evergreen candles this time of year. But on Yule itself, we will actually sit down and we will make a meal. We will have a special Yule meal. Something nice, something large. This year we are planning to keep it closer to eating healthier, but we still plan to eat and feast and celebrate all the same. And we do exchange gifts, though we try to keep them remotely useful as best we can. This year we are trying to keep it also from recluttering the house, if we can. So, I know this sounds a bit rambling and you're probably like, Drake, we know all this. But what I want to emphasize here is the meaning of that season, and I would challenge you to, whatever your family does to celebrate the season. There's so many wonderful ways to celebrate the season. And I'm not saying you have to donate items. I'm not saying you have to volunteer in a soup kitchen. I'm not saying you have to do any of these things. Heck, if you actually want to hit the store, buy mountains of presents, and celebrate with your family and exchange gifts, do it. Do it. But no matter how you celebrate, keep that focus on that goodwill, that joy, and that hope for better days to come, and that being a better neighbor, being a better member of your community, just being a person that brings a smile to the people you meet whenever possible. That one itty bitty little thing, which, if you ask me, truly is the core of all the holidays that surround the season. That one thing, if we keep an eye on that, I think we'll all have a much brighter, happier holiday season, and we'll pass that joy and that brightness and that well-being on to those people we meet. And if we make a habit of that, like I said, I think it will push into the year. And it's possible, we might even change our communities in the long term if we can push that ideology or that thought process of just trying to be a good person and help those we meet as we move forward. All right, I'm Drake. This has been Working Dragon Mystic, and from my family to yours, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, happy Yule, happy every other holiday out there. Everyone, have a fantastic holiday season, whatever you celebrate. And again, if you see me out there shopping or whatnot, say hi, and I'll wish you a happy holiday if you wish me one. And until next time, I'm Drake. This has been Working Dragon Mystic. Take care. Bye-bye.